purposes of clearing up the record, I think we crossed wires a second ago. If not for the fire, would Remington Walden have survived?
Oh, if not for the fire, would he have survived? No, he would not have survived, because again, the injury he had in his leg would have been survivable. I'm sorry, am I still misunderstanding?
I think you're answering the question, if there had been no fire, would he have died?
Okay.
Which I think your answer is no.
I'm sorry, one more time.
Look, if there had been no fire in this Jeep, would Remington Walden be alive today?
Okay. Yes, he would be alive. If it had not been for the fire, he would be alive right now.
Let's talk about the reasons that you know that. How do you know? How did you reach the conclusion that if there had been no fire, Remington Walden would be alive today?
First and foremost, my autopsy findings. Okay. I had a 4-year-old male child. From my autopsy, I know he has no significant natural disease that would have caused his death. From my autopsy, I know he has 2 types of injuries. He has one injury, which is a burn injury to 100% of his body surface with charring. The second finding I have is a blunt force injury, which is the injury to his right leg, which in itself is a survivable injury, and again, would not have caused his death. This other thing with the autopsy findings is, again, I have hemorrhage around the femur, which tells me that he was alive at the time his femur or leg was fractured. He was actively bleeding. I also know from the autopsy that he had no other significant blunt force injuries. Again, I ruled out any kind of injuries to his other bones of his body, to his chest, to his abdomen. His organs were perfectly fine. His skull, again, although it showed fractures consistent with burning type of fractures, he had no underlying brain injuries, no bleeding around the brain, no tearing of the brain tissue, no hemorrhage within the brain. So again, the autopsy tells me that that Remington died from the thermal injury in conjunction with the blunt force injury of his leg, and that he was alive at the time when the injury occurred. The other findings that I had at the autopsy was my toxicology testing. I had done a carboxyhemoglobin test on him, again, which tells me how much carbon monoxide was in his system. In Remington's case, he had carbon monoxide in his system. Now, if you're a heavy smoker, you may have some carbon monoxide in your system. You might have about 5% or so of carbon monoxide in your system just because you smoke heavily. Or if you live in I'm from Philadelphia, I've inhaled enough car exhaust in my time. So at that time when I was living there, I may have had, maybe 3-4%. I don't smoke. But in Remington's case, especially from Leah Champion, even though the autopsy report, let me back up a little bit, the toxicology report that I received said no significant quantity of carboxyhemoglobin present. Now, what you have to understand is the toxicologists are looking at this test as, did it cause Remington's death? Okay? Did the carboxyhemoglobin cause his death? In Remington's case, no, it didn't. So they say, because it's below their level that they test for, or below their level, they have a set level of 8, they say it's not significant. But toxicologists aren't medical doctors, okay? I have to look at the whole picture. I can't just take one sample and say, that's not significant. That is significant that he has I believe it was a 6.8 and a 7.1 level, because that tells me he was breathing, and he was breathing in carbon monoxide, or smoking from the smoke that was from the fire. So to me, those levels are actually very significant, because they tell me, again, just an additive thing that says, yes, he was alive and he was breathing at the time of the fire. The other thing would be the witness statements. Again, I received verbal and then written witness statements saying that Remington was alive. He was actually trying to get out of the vehicle. He was crying, he was screaming. And then on top of that, I actually did receive photographs from Remington's position of his body in the vehicle after the fire was put out. And his position of the body, with him sitting at the edge of the seat and actually leaning out the window with his, I believe it was his right arm draped over the window and using the left arm, tells me that, again, that position of the body would be consistent with the 4-year-old young man trying to get out of the vehicle, which tells me he was alive. It was a purposeful movement. If you're dead, you're not going to try to get out of the vehicle, obviously. So again, there are multiple things. The autopsy is number one, and part of that autopsy is the toxicology results. Then the witness statements, and then the actual position of his body in the vehicle all confirm that Remington was alive while the fire was happening.